Good morning, everybody. Tequila here, and in today's video, we're going to do a quick, slightly more in-depth though overview of the V27 and the patch notes here. If anybody wasn't able to check it out, uh, last night Taggz and myself kind of did a co-stream together on his channel, going through the update, kind of almost like a first reaction. Neither him nor myself had actually gotten the update, only the patch notes. About halfway through, Spartan, shout out to him as well, joined in, and we had a pretty great conversation. But that was still, that was more of like a first look. None of us had actually had the update. You know, at this point, several people have the update, so I can give kind of a little bit more in-depth or thought-out opinions on everything. Sorry. So, getting into it here, we have the new enemy type fleets. These are only spawning on tier 14 and higher. And they're kind of like I guess like a super elite. So you have the commanders, which are gonna go to the edge of your tower range, but slightly outside of it, and they will kind of buff all enemy units with extra health in an AoE. These do not do any kind of damage to your tower. However, the extra health is apparently quite a bit. I don't know how much. There's an overcharge, which is it's an attacker also stops outside of the tower range, and it shoots a returning projectile that doubles in power with each subsequent hit. I call these guys the boomerangs. They kind of just sit out there. They throw out a boomerang. It hits your tower. When it comes back, it doubles the damage that it's gonna do. It's super dangerous. Basically a ray on steroids. And then you have the saboteur, which is going to pretty much bum rush your tower, and when it gets to your tower, it is going to disable a random ultimate weapon on impact, and when you kill it, it gives you the ultimate weapon back. One thing I don't know is if that messes up any kind of sync cooldowns, like if you don't have permanent, GT or whatever at this point, will it mess up your sync with the other weapons? But I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'm pretty far off on that. I don't even. I think I've barely unlocked tier 14, so it'll be a while before I even get to really see those guys. They added tiers 19, 20, and 21, and added some new milestones, more fleets. Kind of natural there. That's the new tiers. They're gonna add then more enemy type, make it harder. The new card. The newest card is Area of Effect and increases AoE damage to specific sources. Specifically here, for me, Smart Missile and Flamebot. Flamebot I'm not even going to be using for damage. I'm only using it for the HP, but Smart Missiles here is huge. And the Area of Effect Mastery increases the range of all damage area of effects. So pretty much all of these things, ILM, Poison Swamp, Smart Missile, Flamebot, Landmine, all of those are going to have increased range if you get this card mastery. To me, I think this is going to be one of the most effective damage ultimate weapon uh, masteries you can get if you are using swamp or missiles. Mainly missiles, because it's going to let you get your missile lamp out a lot better. So I'm actually really excited for this card. Unfortunately, though, it is unlocked at the mastery reward at tier 20. I don't know if that means it is a mastery reward on tier 20 or if it's when you unlock tier 20. So tier 19 wave 100. I'm not 100% sure, but fortunately they did not change anything about card masteries. It still is when you get 30 maxed cards. Now I will say, I heard somebody today, they went and pushed the milestone to unlock card masteries, and they do not have maxed out cards, yet they were able to purchase a card mastery. So, uh, I don't know necessarily any of the implications behind that, um, but if you unlock card masteries now, apparently, until it gets fixed, you are able to purchase card masteries rather. if you have the stones. It, however, that player was unable to purchase masteries for the cards they did not have maxed out. So um, I'm not saying I recommend doing that, but that is something that I heard happen today. But fortunately here, without any kind of weird patch day bug things, card masteries are still at 30 maxed out cards. So you max out all of the cards, you can still get card masteries without actually getting area of effect maxed out. So that's awesome. Thank you, devs. This here is probably the thing I'm the most excited about. There's been a lot of backlash on it with the price of it, but you have assist modules now, which once you get very far into the game, tier 19, wave 40, you can spend a ridiculous amount of stones to unlock an assist module for each slot. You're going to gain the main effect, unique effects, and all of the substats. However, it's at a reduced efficiency. Um, to unlock something at an epic, um, at an epic module for each slot, by the way, it is 1,000 stones. So it is not going to be cheap. And then I heard that to go from epic to legendary is an additional 1,500 stones. So it's 2,500 stones just to get a legendary mod effect. However, there are several mods that are very useful. Main ones I can think of would be something like let me pull them up, but I don't know what I was doing there. Something like a G comp, a BHD, Dimcore even, the newly reworked OM chip. This one. So stuff like this, you can you can run them even at an epic, especially something like OM chip here, because then it's guaranteeing bosses are going to be in your spotlight even at only an epic. So there are some mods that are very good even at an epic. So even though it is ridiculously expensive at 1,000 stones each, um, I could see some really cool niche builds with something like that. um, and then also the labs for these I've heard are insane. The two prices I've heard is the first lab for the substat efficiency thing is basically the lab is going to increase the amount. So it's telling you here the main effect, unique effect, and substats are going to be at a reduced efficiency, and there's labs that will increase the efficiency of these things. And apparently, the substat efficiency lab, the first one, the two prices that I've heard are 25 little q or 250 little q. But either way, it is going to be absolutely expensive. It is absolutely ridiculous. Um, very late game players only are going to be the ones getting to really benefit off of this. However, I was thinking once you are fully maxing this out, a little meme kind of thing would be is if you come in here and you run uh, Ancestral Defense Absolute, it's plus 1,000%. And then you run a second Ancestral Defense Absolute at another, let's just say it's 10% effectiveness. So that's going to give you another 100% effectiveness. Um, right now, if I had Ancestral Defense Absolute rather than the Legendary, it would give me another 10x. And I would be at just shy of 40 billion dabs per run. And if I was able to get another 100x dabs from that, you're talking at what would that be? 4 trillion defense absolute. So this could massively affect how high you're able to go. Because as far as I'm aware, there is no diminishing returns on defense absolute. This could really push up. You know, if you're able to get, like I said, you get 1,000% from an ancestral defense absolute, and then if it's 10% effectiveness once you're maxed out, that's an additional, 100 defense absolute or a maxed out legendary. You could be at 4 trillion defense absolute pretty easily, and that's not even counting the fact that you're sitting at 98% defense percent. So there's a good possibility EHP is actually going to be a lot more viable going into this. The biggest problem, though, is the uh, you don't even unlock assist modules until tier 19 wave 40. So a lot of players are, pretty much everybody at that point has already switched to glass cannon. So I'm really curious if there's going to be any way. I'm going to attempt to EHP my way through tier 19 wave 40. And once I get there, I'm going to try this meme thing where I'm having a defense module with dabs and another defense module with dabs. I'm going to try it. But memes aside, assist modules absolutely cool. The price on them is still ridiculously expensive. Just to get an epic, you're talking 1,000 stones, as if there aren't enough things to spend stones on. And uh, one of the biggest complaints that I've heard is there was no added of, a lot of people are calling it mythic uh, tournament rank, something above legends to try to get, more stones to the community. Pushing more people out of legends from, like, especially on the top end into this new mythic rank would just get a lot of stones trickle down effect. Even though yes, it's going to give more stones to the people in mythic, it'll also give more people stones because there's going to be less competition in legends. And I think that having a tier for the top players would be very useful and beneficial for the game. And right now there was no way to get more stones, and I don't think I've heard anybody complaining that they have too many stones. And just to get all 4 mods at an epic, you're talking 4,000 stones, which is more than you can even buy in a month if you are able to afford full stone packs. But I digress. The they added some new labs, so you now have the ranged enemy range lab, enhancement coin discount. So these, it sounds like it's going to be coming from the new tiers only, so 19, 20, 21. But you can now get enhancement coin discounts, which are awesome. That's really big. The assist module substats, like we talked about, those are ridiculously expensive. And then some more battle condition. And then, they added some attack and health labs for elites. Um, Keeping going. Uh, so they reworked chip, and the new chip is absolutely amazing. I've been calling it for months. Do not ever merge any of your modules that are uniques. Keep them, and eventually it may become a beautiful thing like chip here. And I'll show you in game. It now is guaranteed, no matter what, to focus the boss. And then while it's focusing that boss, it's going to reflect the spotlight and give a damage bonus to the enemies nearby that boss. So at an Ancestral, it's all the way up to a 15 times damage bonus. And I don't know if that is multiplicative with the spotlight itself. So you're going to have the 15 times bonus plus whatever your spotlight is. And that is going to be just a massive damage scaler there. So really excited about that. They are adding 4 new modules. We don't know what they are. The first of the featured banners is going to be on the 25th. So just shy of a week and a half or so, right? Yeah, a week and 2 days from now. So not too far out. And they're running the featured banners for 2 weeks with a 1 week break in between. And once the featured banners end, they go into the standard banner pools. So pretty standard stuff there. A lot of people are recommending just saving all of your gems for the featured banners. At this point, I think so I finally started getting some mythic mods, and I think I really want to pull until I get either a Harmony Conductor or a chip because I'm one away from Mythic on both. That way I can change this dim core out for damage and then put these as my econ. And I kind of want to do that, but I think I am going to just actually start saving up my gems. And once the featured banner comes out, if there is not a mod that I want, I will probably just save until the next of the featured banners. Once all 4 of them rotate through, if there was not one that I want, which one that I want is anything EHP or Smart Missile related. I'm really hoping something good comes from Smart Missile, EHP, or Dabs. All 3 of those kind of could use a buff, so I'm really holding out, hoping for those. Uh, Sharp Fortitude was absolutely massive, so really excited there. And then also just thinking about it for the future, um, what I would want as an assist module even. All right, so the Guardians here, they reworked allies to convert enemies into recovery package chance, a recovery package, and it kind of works like a regular recovery package. However, this ally guardianship recovery packages do not count towards your G comp. It would be absolutely insanely broken if they did. Kind of glad they didn't, because if not, ally would be a must run for G comp. Bounty, which used to be Steel, is it's renamed to Bounty, and instead it just puts a bounty on enemies and causes them to grant more coins on death. It looks like the coin multipliers transferred pretty much directly over. Um, I had a decent amount of investment into mine, and this multiplier, cooldown targets, all of this stayed the same except for from a 0.5 on steel, or 0.51 on steel, it is now a 1.51 multiplier. So a 50%, 51% coin increase on 5 targets every minute and a half. Is pretty good. So if we look at Rend here and we look at the analytics, I did not have the stats on this most recent run. Oh yeah, I did. So let's see. Yeah, here we go. So it's the numbers are completely different because they changed the way the stats work. So the quantity is different. However, the percentages stay the same. So if you look here, I stole 1.1% of coins and 0.0 on fetch. And then on this run, I actually stole 4.7%. So because it multiplies with your ultimate weapons, the amount that I'm stealing is actually insanely higher from the coins there. So it ended up being a massive buff to the steel chip, which is now called Bounty. So I'm really pumped for that because I put a lot of coins into my or metals or whatever they're called, stones, whatever, gems, something, I don't know, jewels. What are they called? They don't have a name. I don't know. The square gem things. Uh, I put a lot of those into my bounty. I have fetch to where I'm guaranteed I'm getting all of my dailies. It just reset, so it's not there yet. But during this next farm run, I will guarantee I get all of my dailies here. And every bit of these little squares are going to go into my bounty chip here. I would possibly consider the new ally chip, but I think I'm just going to go hard into econ and pump this up a little more. But I'm really excited about this. Also, one really good thing about bounty is it is increasing the coin drop on enemies. So if you are running a horde strategy similar to Orb Devo, then it is going to increase the coin on them. So this cooldown doesn't necessarily have to be synced. If you are running like a G comp, getting this cooldown as low as possible, especially while running a hoarding strategy, is going to be very efficient because it is going to multiply those people's coins, and as long as you're killing them guaranteed in your thing, because once again you're hoarding enemies, that is absolutely huge, and I think that's a big reason as to why pulling Ren back up, it went from 1.1 to 4.7, so just over 4x the amount of coins that I'm getting from that bot or guardianship rather. So that is absolutely massive. The attack speed here, they refactored how the attack speed works, and now it works better across all game speeds. It allows for infinitely high attack speeds. Um, so apparently the attack speed bug where you're slowing down game speed is now fixed, which is awesome. Okay, they added 10 levels to Amp Bot's bonus and duration, Golden Bot's bonus duration, Flame Bot's damage, Flame Bot's damage reduction. So for me, 10 levels to bonus and duration for Golden Bot. I was not maxed out, but I was getting closer. Now I'm even farther away. The new duration max for Gold Bot is 45 seconds, so you can get very close to a permanent Golden Bot now. Possibly even permanent. I think it's just shy of being permanent. And then also 5 levels of Golden Bot Flame Reduction is huge for an EHP build like what I am planning on running. I have absolutely no care for now, at least, about the flame damage from Gold Bot or well, Flame Bot's damage. Um, but this damage reduction is pretty cool. I'm getting close to wanting to unlock my Flame Bot to see if it gets me a little bit further in runs. Uh, they put in diminishing returns for Pulsar Harvester at max rank. The adjusted inner landmines quantity calculations to accommodate for a greater number of ILMs. I really don't know what that means. It sounds like they're giving more ILMs. I don't know if that's some kind of the mod that changes regular landmines into ILMs or what exactly that is. Implemented an adjustment to enemy mass where enemy mass is increased by for each wave they're alive. This is apparently the death of the bounce web strategy. Stuff is going to just increase in mass and no longer be able to be knocked back if it's alive for too long. It is also apparently something to do with this bugged knockback, so it's not working as intended right now. They adjusted elite spawning logic, so each elite has its own spawn cap. This is apparently a massive cell loss. I've heard a lot of players are reporting like a 10 to 20% cell loss from yesterday to today, just from the enemy elites capping themselves. Let's see. They increased the enhancement level caps. I am nowhere close to any of these, so I'm increased by 100 on the coins, cash, and cells. Yeah, I'm at like 17 or something. So that none of those matter, but that is cool for the once again the this update seems very end game focused and giving a lot of enhancements is pretty cool. Improved knockback performance. As I said, this is kind of bugged right now. Apparently, knockback is not working as intended. I don't really use knockback, so it doesn't matter for me. It doesn't negatively affect me. If anything, it's positive that I'm knocking back less. I heard the 10 more levels of damage slider was to reduce it, but the way it reads was it actually increases it. I'm not 100% sure, but damage slider is better now. Enemy spawns work regardless of lag. This could be really cool for if you run a background. I don't know how that affects it still. If a background lag is going to still reduce how many coins you're getting. And then I'm going to skip over these battle conditions because they don't really matter to me. These are, oh, actually this is big. Sorry. They added enemy level skip reduction to tiers 14 through 21, and also they added them to tournaments. Oh yeah, here it is. Added enemy level skip battle condition to gold, platinum, and champion, and they adjusted them in legends. Basically, they just made all of the tournaments slightly harder. I still think instead of doing that, they should have added in an additional um, tournament league to try to help help deal with the massive disparity in player brackets, especially in Legends, but also even trickling down into Champions because there are players getting demoted into Champions that should be in Legends, and they're just absolutely smoking a legend or a champ tournament because they're a Legends player, but they're getting demoted because of bad RNG on the brackets, which is part of the system. But I think another tier would kind of help that. So, uh, change lab invincibility to start from the beginning of the rebuild animation. This is cool for Glass Cannon. I've seen several clips. I think Jay Plays had one just a few days ago, possibly his tournament stream, where he died as the wall was rebuilding. So like he got hit right as the wall was coming up, and it's just super unfortunate there. But apparently that's fixed now. Um, Bosses ignored ILM, so that's good. ILM is my next ultimate weapon, so that's good. Uh, I've never seen the boss bar go negative that I'm aware of, but I also AFK the majority of my runs. Um, Apparently, if you lowered your speed, fast battle condition, fast ult would ignore landmines, so they fixed that. Um, I've I've never used the Guardian attack outside of the first season it was introduced. Um, Raise pausing outside of firing range. Well, Chrono Jump is the lab that reduces ILM recharge whenever a mine goes off, so it working with Space Displacer is cool, especially with the assist module. Space Displacer might get some more use. And auto merging model would miss one bounce blitzer. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming bounce blitzer is one of the blue mods, and it would just get skipped. So UI improvements: the Death Waves damage ring UI, pretty much just under where like on the top left under your gems and stuff. Sorry. Whenever you have the kill wall up, it has a health bar now or a health indicator now. The copy end of round stats. Dizzy has already said he's working. Possibly already has it, but it is going to allow Rend to upload that, and it's going to be massively easier for Project Rend. So huge shout out there. I will also link Dizzy's Discord and YouTube channel. Please go check it out. Project Rend, absolutely game changing. Enemies hit by orb. So they added a bunch of stuff here. So they added some of the stats. They changed the currency screen a little bit, and that's kind of what I was talking about here. So if you look at the absolute, these numbers look terrible between these two runs. How much coins, even Golden Tower, this Golden Tower gave me 4 trillion. This Golden Tower gave me 3.7. They basically changed the way the multipliers work in the stats page. So even though this number here is completely different, like you're talking 4 trillion versus 300 billion, the percentages are going to be similar. Oh, excuse me. The percentages are similar, so it's still giving you good information here. Um, so you just can't look at the absolute numbers until we get a lot of I guess runs updated with these new numbers. It's going to look very weird. But as you can see, the runs were very similar as far as coins and cells per hour. Just oh, just need some more runs updated with the new numbers for this analytics page to look normal. And quality of life. Is this where they talk about it? No. Where is that? Cloud save issues. This is really cool. I know like 4 players that have recently been burned by a bad cloud save. One guy lost like a month and a half, and then it took him a while to get back to him. Stuff like that. So I don't know if I skipped it here, but they buffed black hole coin bonus to also work on all enemies, whether they're affected by the black hole or not. So all elites and bosses now give you black hole coin bonus, even though they are not um, being sucked in by the black hole. So it's a massive buff there to black hole coin bonus. So shout out there. And then, lab speedups can now be queued. There's currently a bug with your labs, but you can now, as you can see here, they're bugged, so their timers are not taking down. But apparently, you can now queue a speed up of whatever else. You can queue speed ups now. So whenever this speed up ends, it will automatically speed it up. So I'm not gonna set any of mine to auto speed up because I like manually doing it. And right now I'm getting to the point where I can definitely hold 4x on one, but with between this bug and then also just where my tower is at, I'm getting very close to being able to afford 2 4x's and then 3 3x's. So currently I'm not going to queue any, but it is really cool. You can now queue this, and it will auto queue up the next one. And then they also changed it so if like say this health regen lab finishes, it will no longer tick down on my speed up timer unless I replace that with another, because I have this turned off right now. I'm going to be swapping that out for some econ stuff. All right. And looks like, well, they added purchase confirmation for anything that costs 500 stones plus. And all 10x purchases for cards or modules, there's now confirmation. Less likely to have a very detrimental fat finger. And yep, so here we go. V27 is alive for everybody. And yep, here's Fuds talking about the knockback bug. So they're gonna release it after tournament ends. So um, just that's about it here for this. I think I've kind of talked about everything a little bit more in depth. But if you've made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you. This ended up being pretty long, but I really appreciate anybody who's made it this far. If you could, please do me a favor and make the algorithm happy. Leave me a like and a subscribe. Drop a comment in the comments below. And just remember, guys, it's a good day to have a great day.